Again, welcome back. Good morning. We are here to talk about robotics and coding for children. And my name is Amalor Jude, founder of Modo Edulabs Private Limited. And before we move forward, I would like to wish you all a happy Gandhi Jayanti, and I hope you are having a good time at home today. So before I get started, I would like to mention this particular and very interesting quote by Aristotle, who said that for the things that we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. I think that is probably the most fundamental, aspect of the whole vision that we have at Modo Edulabs, is that at some point in time, our children are going to be starting to work with the technology, devices, and equipments, and before we can work on them, or before we can start using them for our benefits, I think we need to learn them, but we learn them by actually working on them, right? So that was the whole notion that we had, and this is a very appropriate quote at this point in time, And I would like to probably set the context here in terms of what is a third dimension in learning, right? I think we are all aware of the first dimension, and which is probably age-old, in terms of what we call as a formal school education, where we are taught languages, maths, science, social sciences, right? And the second dimension, which probably goes back about 30, 40 years, where the whole sports and arts started getting into prominence, and we call it as a dimension 2, and I think our children are doing that as well at this point in time. The third dimension, which is newly emerging at this point in time, is what I call as a technology learning dimension, where we learn things about computing, coding, robotics, drones, 3D printing, artificial intelligence, neural networks, machine learning, and so on and so forth, right? They're all gaining prominence in our life as we speak, and they are growing rapidly in terms of the advancements on a day-to-day basis. So it is only a matter of time that this third dimension becomes part of our lives, and that is what we do at Modo Edulabs, to create courses for children to enable them be prepared for the third dimension that is emerging at this point in time. And some of the images here in this particular screen should be fairly familiar, and I'm only going to talk about some of the technologies that are shaping our lives, especially the ones that have come to prominence in the last 5 to 10 years. Right? So artificial intelligence. Now it's become such a common word. In fact, in some of the CBSE schools, it is being taught as an elective. And artificial intelligence based assistants like your Alexa and Google Home, Apple Siri, they're all part of our lives on a day-to-day basis. So AI is going to, get into our lives in a much more bigger way as we see things shaping up. The small girl holding a tablet, that's a classical example of augmented reality. Now, augmented reality is being used in many areas, especially in education, and people say that this is going to be one of the trendsetters in the education in the times to come. 3D printing, again, it's growing in prominence. We have heard recent stories where in healthcare, body organs can be 3D printed to custom fit, and so that is again an area which is also deepening in terms of technology advancements. The Boston Dynamics mule that you see in this picture, it shows how agile and advanced our robotics robots are becoming. In fact, some of the recent videos, if you were seen, shows this particular mule becoming very agile and very sporty, and is able to do some gymnastics as well. So I think they are getting far more advanced in getting to do things that we've only imagined a few years back. Drones, again, drone deliveries are becoming a normal. we've heard of them in some of the Western countries. Pizza deliveries probably is a norm, and it's only about time that some of the deliveries in our homes start getting, done by drones as well. And tech is draining around us is the core, theme that I wanted to highlight. And some of the examples which are happening in our close quarters. For example, this iRobot Roomba is a vacuum cleaner which is available even in India, right? I mean, you can go to a shop, you can buy them, and make use of them. This is a completely automated vacuum cleaner, goes around, cleans the house without any human intervention. One of the recent videos I've seen and I got super thrilled was our own Mr. Rahman playing in a conference without any instruments. And as you can see, he's wearing wristbands, and these are powered by Intel QE technology. So purely by his hand movements and the shake that he does, he's able to trigger the programming, and the programming is actually triggering the music that he's planning to create. And if you have not already seen, we suggest that you take a look at it. It's a very cool thing that he does on the stage. Bottom right, you see a doctor performing surgery, and again, this is something that is becoming normal. You would have seen some of the popular hospitals advertising these days that they also have robotic assisted surgeries, and it's getting normal because one, it's known for its precision, and number two is also able to bring in the kind of expertise for the affordable. And last but not the least, you also see a picture of David Warner, and David Warner did something very cool this World Cup. I think he was the first batsman to actually wield a bat with a sensor attached to it. So this is just to show some simple examples. I'm sure there are many more which I'm sure you would have read about and we can talk about. But these are small examples of technology entering our lives, and I keep telling this to children when I meet them in schools, that immaterial of what you choose to become, because I think there is some level of confusion between, okay, I'm not too sure whether I should actually choose robotics or something else. I don't think it's either or as a choice. I think it's and robotics and something, or automation and something that I want to choose. So I think no matter what we choose to become, technology is going to be a fundamental aspect of that career. In fact, I vividly remember about 40 years ago, we heard of people actually specializing in typewriting skills. Again, 20-25 years ago, we have heard of people saying that I'm also learning computers. Now, understand that how our ability to use the emerging technology is going to become a definite advantage in a workplace in the future. That is to say that the more comfortable we become with the tech of today is going to help us to better equip to function at work tomorrow, right? So like I said, I've shown in the last couple of images how things have changed in the last 5 to 10 years. But now I request you to imagine how tech will transform in the next 10, 15 or 20 years. And when our children are in the workforce, imagine the tech at that point in time, right? So obviously we are not foretellers, but we can safely assume that it's going to be awesome. It's going to be pretty advanced at that point in time. Here is a small question for the people who are listening to this webinar live. The quiz is, can any one of you name who this boy is? So here are some few clues on the screen, and you can quickly type his name on the chat window to see whether any one of you know who he is, right? And he was a boy wonder who actually picked up coding when he was 5. He built his first iPhone app at the age of 9, and his first app got published, I think, in 2013. He's learned pretty new and many coding languages. He actually works on artificial intelligence, with IBM Watson, which is actually a kind of open source AI, if you will. And recently, he's also become a TED speaker. So can anyone, he's just about, as we speak, maybe he should be about 14 years old at this point in time. As one of you typed, he is not a OYO founder. Anybody else who can actually call out his name? I'll probably give another 10 seconds. Okay, good. So some of you even sending me messages directly, but I don't think any one of you got the right answer. So his name is Tanmay Bakshi. So I suggest you probably do a Google search on him. So Tanmay Bakshi actually was one of the child prodigies, but I wouldn't really call him a child prodigy because, of course, he was smart. He was very good with technology and understanding of the coding. But I think he had the advantage of having a father who actually introduced him to coding at the age of 5, because his father himself was a computer programmer, and I think he gave him the early access. I think that is the word that I want to emphasize, that if our children are given early access, right, I think they also can become the boy wonder or the girl wonder amidst us. So I think the takeaway from this particular slide is that a right exposure at the right time will open gateways for our children, right? So to summarize, so technology education is here to help build, more of a passion and a career for children, who want to pursue this as an option. But more importantly, there are studies done by some of the universities in the US and including some of the government-funded initiatives in the US and some of the Western countries, is that it enables children to do problem solving, creative thinking, logical thinking, team building, community engagement, and many more. See, these are some of the advantages that children are able to establish and that were actually captured as actually beneficial to the children. And there are many more which are captured in various other researches. What I had called out are only the top 5 advantages that we have seen, right? So coming back to the why Modo, there are 3 aspects. Like I said, the first one is the curriculum, and like I mentioned, and I'm going to repeat, is that we actually mapped it to global standards. We want to make sure that our children are learning basis what some of the prominent organizations like the NASA and the Carnegie Mellon are prescribing, saying that children of this particular ages should understand technology, and these are the topics that they should be learning at this particular age groups. And so we used those, and of course we have done research from our end to make sure that we are providing the right set of curriculum that are packaged for our children as video lessons. Second aspect, like I mentioned again I'm going to repeat, is that coding is an integral part of our communication with the technology devices. It is important that children pick up the concept of coding very, very early on. As people say that software is taking over the world, right, in the form of mobile apps that we use for almost every basic aspect of our lives, be it booking a car, booking a cab, a maid, sending email, and so on and so forth. We teach children coding in a formal way and a proper way, where they start from scratch using a tool called Scratch, and across multiple levels we introduce them to from a block-based coding to text-based coding in a gradual way, and we strongly think that that is the ideal way to learn coding, and not straight away get into text-based coding, where the whole the learning becomes very rote, as we call it. And the third one is the hands-on learning kit. Again, if you intended to your child to pick up, let's say, playing guitar or learn tennis, the first thing you would do is buy him a guitar or a tennis racket. So like with all things, we also provide robotic kits. These are primarily made of some of the most basic electronic components, and these kits will help children to learn hands-on throughout the course of what we offer. So there are 5 levels, as I called out earlier. So you can't teach technology at one go, right? I mean, it has to be a gradual way of learning things across the years, and hence we have now created a framework of 5 levels. So the first level course, which is Jumpstart, which is readily available at this point in time, and many of you have shown interest to buy it. And second level of course is called Step Up, which we are planning to launch in the next couple of months. Core.ai, third level, is all about artificial intelligence and Python-based programming. Fourth level, we are introducing them to autonomy of things. Fifth level is neural network and machine learning. So across the 5 levels, as you can see, children start from the basics of coding and basics of electronic kits, and they move up the ladder and go into more complex projects and complex learning of tools and coding. And that's how we have shaped and created this whole structure, so that your child can go through one step at a time and learning things. I think by the time they get to the second level, they will start appreciating the whole notion of sensors. And by the time they go to third level, I think that's when, as the name suggests, it's all about getting to know text-based coding and getting familiar with it. And across the fourth and fifth levels, they will work on projects where they can actually start showcasing and even participating in. So coming back to the first level of course that is currently available, that is Jumpstart. So Jumpstart has 25 modules, or 25 chapters, as you would call them, and each module has sub-lessons. Some of them have as minimum as 2 lessons, and some of them can go up to 6 lessons. But all of these lessons put together form about approximately 30 to 35 minutes of content for every module. And sometimes it can even cross about 40 minutes, especially in programming modules. So in all, we are looking at about approximately 1,000 minutes of video content that we have packaged for your children, right? And using the robotic kit that we supply, they can work on more than 50 various projects, starting from the most basic to working in the most advanced. In the 50 towards the end of the course, they will be working on little complex, little advanced programming, where they will be working on more than one sensor at a time. So the 3 core aspects of Jumpstart is, one is digital delivery, right? So the video lessons that we have created are primarily to make sure that the quality of delivery is consistent. So a child who takes his course at any given point in time, at anywhere, is seeing the same course and not different, just because the child at that point in time has a different teacher who may or may not be qualified. So we want to eradicate that particular aspect and make sure that we capture this video lessons so that a child can take it at any given point in time. One more benefit of actually having a video lesson is that the child can see the video, go through the lessons at his or her own pace. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is that video lessons also come with a little bit of interactivity. There are characters in the video lesson who make the whole learning a little bit more fun. And the third aspect is there are a lot of audio visuals that are packaged into the video lessons. So watching and learning is far more better than just primarily imagining from your notebook, right? So that is the aspect on digital delivery. Second is relevance. All our courses, content are all relating to real life issues, real life developments. And the last but not the least, like I said earlier, that we are, through these courses, we are enabling children to be future ready. The comprehensive coverage of the course is all, but to be seen. We request you to visit our website, that is www.heymodo, that's HEYMODO.com, and there we have called out all the 25 modules in detail. And you can compare this with any other vendor who's offering this particular course. I have highlighted here some of the broad topics in terms of what we cover, but I sincerely request you all to go through the website and see that how each of these 25 modules is built, what kind of content we provide in these video lessons. And in terms of support, this is a regular question we get from many of the parents, which is a fair question, is how my son is working on this project independently, how does he get support? So children may not have a phone with them, children may not have an email ID, but what they definitely have is access to the desktop or a laptop that you provide them. And in the desktop they can visit our website, and we are available from morning 8 till evening 8. So they can chat with us and ask us any questions. In fact, children do currently, who are already enrolled, ask us these questions, and they can always ask us questions, and we actually make sure that we help them through the chat itself, or we call them directly to make things a little bit more easier for them. So like I mentioned earlier, that all the courses come with a kit. So there are 2 physical kits and 1 virtual kit. So 2 physical kits are MBOT, which is an imported robotic kit. Second one is a GizmoBot, which is actually made in India robotic kit. And third one is a virtual bot. Virtual bot is again very unique in the way that it is actually a software simulator bot. So a child can do the same programming but see the activities on the screen and not physically. So that is the only primary differentiation. And these 3 kits are already offered as part of the Jumpstart course. These are 3 primary variants. Each one carries a certain cost. The virtual bot currently is 3,000. GizmoBot currently is going at 6,000, and MBot is at 11,250. Each one of them are priced basis the cost of the kit that is also packaged along with the course. So we don't resell the kit. We are not the resellers of the kit. We offer the course packaged with the kit. You can also derive more value from the investments, and I did call out a little earlier too that there are few worldwide competitions and some of the locally driven competitions coming to our country, coming to your cities. Currently they're all happening in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, and school children have the opportunity to participate in these competitions. I think by going through and Jumpstart, especially using MBot or the GizmoBot, you have the opportunity to participate, let your child participate in any of the competitions that is happening in your city. Now, being able to participate in competitions, it will open up a lot of ideas for your child to understand that what are other projects, school projects that other children are working on. There are new areas that your child can pick up, and of course, you can also win few competitions and make you proud. So before I conclude, I wanted to give you a good news for the people who are able to join today's call webinar. And so for the Dashara, we have created 2 new offers, and the biggest offer at this point in time is the GizmoBot. GizmoBot is actually one of the highest number of sales that we have seen in the recent past. It's a made in India kit, works very well. It's customized for our course and carries easy to plug in tools. Currently, like I mentioned, the price of Gizmo board is already subsidized as 6,000 rupees, but specifically for the Dussehra offer, we are giving 1,000 rupees more discount on Gizmo board. That means that effective price is only rupees 5,000, and you can avail this offer before 10th of October. The MBOT course currently, which is going at 11,250, we will be offering them at again 9,999. That is 1 rupee less than 10,000. This offer again is valid till 10th of October 2019. These both are the Dussehra offers. We request people on the call to make use of this offer and get your children get started on the course at the earliest. So having said that, we will come to the end of the course. We technically have another few more minutes before we can conclude this call. So you can ask your question by chatting with us on the, you can put your question in the chat window, and we can answer in this particular webinar. Failing which, not to worry, you have a website, that is www.heymodo.com, that is HEYMODO.com. You can visit us there, and our phone numbers are there. You can even chat with us, and you can clarify any questions that you may have on the course. So what we will do is that we will just wait for the next few seconds to see whether there are any questions from parents who are live on this webinar, and then we can conclude it on the call. Okay, so there are some questions. I'll start answering them. I think the first question from Shreyas is that what are the costs for all 5 courses? I do appreciate that you want to take up all the courses, Shreyas, but what we can only tell you is that we will be launching these courses 1 course at a time, and in the intervals of about 6 months from now onwards. So the second course, which is due to be released in the next couple of months, the price is not fully finalized. We will let you know the prices when we launch around the launch time, which is technically around December time frame. Second question from Rubita is, till what time these courses are valid? Okay, so we have seen children finish the course in less than a month, and we've also seen children taking the course for across 6 to 7 months. So there is no time limit to finish the course. However, we strongly feel that children are able to finish this in about 2 months' time, so that there is continuity. They're able to kind of follow through the lessons. In fact, there are many of the lessons also have additional information which they can actually read through. So there will be a good continuity if children can finish it across 2 months, and that is what we have seen as an average finish time as well. Is everything taught online? Is a course from one of the parents? Yes. So all the courses as we see them are all video lessons, like I called out earlier. And these video lessons are available to you in a sequential order. So after finishing the first module, you have to complete the quiz. After completing the quiz, you will be able to move to the second module and third, and so on and so forth. So it's all in sequential order. All of the video lessons are available as on-demand video lessons. That means that you can access it anytime, anywhere. And however, the support is real time. What I mean by that is that you can chat with us, like I said, from morning 8 till evening 8, and there are team members who will respond to your query and help you sort out at that point in time. So that is the answer. So there was a parent who said that I was expecting some coding samples in the webinar. In fact, I suggest that we actually have a coding lesson available free for your access. In fact, it is in module number 18. I strongly recommend that you go register once, which is again absolutely free of cost. You can register on our website and you can go visit module 18. And I think the second lesson in module 18 is free for anybody who is registered, and you can actually see the sample video lesson on coding. In fact, for others who are interested to go see other sample lessons, module 3 first chapter is also made as a free chapter, so that you understand between these two lessons you will understand that how a theory or a conceptual class is happening and a coding class happening. So you will get a fair understanding by viewing these two videos. So is there any Modo Institute in Bangalore? We currently don't have any retail institutes at this point in time. We are working with some of the franchisees. They're all in discussions at this point in time. We hope to finalize them in the coming year. At that point in time, maybe some of you can also go visit these franchisee outlets. Again, the lessons will be the same. You will be taking them in a franchisee outlet, and the kit will be more on a shareable basis. So we have already tried this in a few other cities like Hubli and Pune. We are trying to bring them into some of the prominent cities as well. We'll keep you posted. So there is a course question by Rubita which says that will the course vary between GizmoBot and MBot? It doesn't vary. Like I said, the course is one, that is Jumpstart course, and the kits are the only one that will vary. The electronic kits that we provide, they carry different boards. So in MBot, the board, it's called M-Core, is an integrated Arduino Uno board. So that is fully integrated. It's actually that Arduino Uno and the sensors and all other output mechanisms are all integrated and fused into one board. So that is something that you will see in MBot, whereas in GizmoBot, you will actually see an Arduino Mega board attached to a shield, which is actually customized for Modo purposes, so that children can plug and play and not work on pins. So we have done that, and that is the primary differentiation in terms of the kit as well. Otherwise, the number of sensors, the number of output tools, the programming tools, and all the motors and batteries, all other aspects remain the same. It's a board is different, and again I want to emphasize course is singular. That is, Jumpstart is the course. That's a first level course. We are only giving various options for you to take up the course at various price points, purely dependent on the electronic kit alone. Okay, I think we have come to the end of the webinar. It's almost 50 minutes since we started. So I want to thank all the parents on the call for taking the time out, and I'm hoping that some of the children have also joined with you. So once again, have a great holiday, and thank you all for joining. I look forward that all of you will make use of the Dussehra offer and enroll your children, and we look forward to seeing them in the Modo course as well. Thank you all. Have a great day. This is a bye from